Hello friends, structuralism is terribly interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. This structuralism actually has brought all the different aspects of our life, knowledge, see, episteme visano, that is under its umbrella. And now you can see this literature, you have it, see, in psychoanalysis, then you have in Marxism, feminism, whatever isms that we know, all of this, the structuralist yardstick can be applied and explained these phenomena of human life. I would say like that. Now, very famous essay you might have come across, that is Stuart Hall's two paradigms, structuralism and culturalism and structuralism. Apparently, if you look at it, you might think that some terrible things are being explained there. But when you see from a structuralist angle, what you find is this: they are trying to the structuralist approach. There is a big thing, structure. The structuralist approach is trying to find out the underlying or the deep, I have to use that word again, structure, from where this culture springs. So that is the point here. What is the springboard from which culture takes the dive? If you want to put it like that, yes. What is the platform, so to say? Another expression is the platform. What is the platform where culture happens? There are two different views. Culturalism, for example, you have got Raymond Williams, then you have E.P. Thompson, Richard Hogarth. These are the people who have this view, who hold this view. What is culture? Culture happens because of interaction and experience. So that is culturalist view of culture. So culturalism and structuralism. These are the two approaches, structuralism. Now, the culturalist will say, Richard Hogarth, Raymond Williams, E.P. Thompson. So these are the people who advocate culturalism in culture. Now what does that mean? They say culture happens because of experience. They call it lived experience. Lived experience means the experience that you get out of interaction. Interacting with your surroundings, interacting with nature, interacting with environment, interacting with people, interacting with the different artifacts that you find, cultural artifacts that you find, say, interacting with visual arts and so on. Even with ordinary life. So signifying practices, they say. Say, for example, a festival is a signifying practice. Marriage is a signifying practice. Means a practice which has got meaning, that's all. So they say, it's because human beings, they come into contact with these things, culture happens. See, you can look at it like this. Humans, nomads, then agriculture. Nomads, then they understood that probably, this is not a way of life, it won't last for long. So they turn to land and cultivation, and then agriculture. After agriculture, then they found that it's not enough to stay here, there should be movement. And so they thought about like this, and they probably might have discovered what is called, they might have invented what is called the wheel movement. Before that, it might be animals, they used animals for moving from one place to another. Like this, your experience with living or your experience with the needs. You see, your needs one by one is multiplying. So according to that, see, a need is the mother of all inventions, we say. So like that, this slowly development happens, progress, and so you have got the culture. At last now what happens is you have got AI, artificial intelligence. So that is also part of culture. Culture is ordinary, these people said, way of life. So from democratization of culture, this idea that everything is culture. Whatever happens, cooking is culture. But before that, Mathew and Theist and so on, those people said that it's the culture means F.R. Lewis, Theist and Mathew Arnold, those people, they said that culture means a high culture. That means especially civilization, or you see higher education. Education is culture. Values is culture. Now cooking is not culture, they use. So that is the scenario created by culturalists. Culturalists said everything is culture. Cooking is culture. Farming is culture. Going to factory is culture. Helping a person is culture. Fighting with the person is culture. Looking after animals is culture. Good Samaritan is a culture. Good prodigal son is a culture, aspect of culture, like that. Understand? So the point here is, culturalists say culture is the result of experience, lived experience. Lived experience means by living you come into contact with these things and slowly things change. What Raymond Williams said, residual and the emergent culture. Residual means what remains. Emergent means the dynamic, the next step. For example, although from agriculture, from nomads to agriculture, now all the people did not turn to agriculture. Agriculture is a emergent culture, but residual still remove. The residue of the first culture, so to say, first form of culture, that is nomads, that still remain there. That you can find even now. We are now thinking about artificial intelligence, but there are many, this is the emergent culture. But there are many, in between you will find residues or residual forms of culture still remaining. There are people who live in huts even now. Although there are other people who live in mansions. Like that. So there are people who live in forests. Even now, what we call the aboriginals and so on. They live in forest, they are comfortable with that. So that is the residual culture. The emergent culture is what we call ourselves, or what the civilized people say, civilized form of life, and all those, the skyscrapers, then flat system, factory system, and things like that. So that is culture. The more you interact, then the greater will be your need and also that energy for developing and finding new things. So that is culture according to experience, lived experience and interaction with nature. Understand? That is the culturalist approach. But then the structuralist approach is, they say, structuralists are Levi-Strauss. You have heard of this name, no? Claude Levi-Strauss, isn't it? And Louis Althusser. So these are structuralists. Now they say culture is the effect of underlying structures. Here it is, culture happens because of experience. But here they say experience is what the culturalists say experience is the effect. I am writing this in capital letter, is the effect of underlying structures in the mind of people. See that? So this is structuralist. The structuralist approach is not here. What is happening is you see only the surface of what is happening or what has come up in the surface. You experience it. You see Taj Mahal, you see Red Fort. I'm just giving an example. You see big factories, you see educational institutions, universities, then you see what other things like flat system of living, bungalows are there, then you have got facilities, transport, and things like railways. They are all part of culture. This. Now, the structuralists, these are all the surface appearances. Where is the underlying system? Mainly structuralists that. For anything, when they look at the literary compositions, writing for example, you are going for the underlying system. Where is the underlying system? That's what they are trying to say. And how is it related? How are the surface appearances related to the underlying system? Now, in the same case, the Louis Althusser and so on, they are trying to find out the deep structures of culture. And finally, where did they reach? They found it in the genetic code or the mind is a genetic code of humans. It is because it is embedded. There is a famous statement now, that is, genetics loads the gun and the environment pulls the trigger. Genetics loads the gun. So, this structure, the capacity for culture is in the genetic code of humans. It is because of that you interact and you get into experience. See that? The point here is experience is culture, culturalists will say. Structuralists say experience is the effect of underlying structures. This is the effect of experience is the effect of underlying structures of culture in the embedded, you can say, in the genetic code of humans. It's because you have the capacity to enjoy and interact with and take lessons from Taj Mahal, you get that experience. Now, in simple English, in a simple way, you can explain this. Suppose monkeys, they go and see Taj Mahal. Or they go to a university. Imagine, some 100 monkeys join a university. Can they listen and attend lectures? Can they take exams? Will they sit there? Will they listen to lectures? Or can they listen to lectures? No. Why? Because there is no genetic code in them. Genetics is not they have not been loaded with the genetic code to produce artifacts of culture, to enjoy culture, to interact with the cultural items and learn lessons from that and proceed with the emergent forms of cultures. Because that is not in their loaded. The genetic code or the genetics, they are not genetically prone to that, you can say. Or their guns are not loaded with their genetics loads the gun missile. So in their genetics, they don't have that inner capacity. It is because humans have the capacity to do these things, culture happens. So experience is the effect of the genetic code that is planted in the or deposited in the mind of humans. That is what the structuralists say. In other words, structuralists are not satisfied with any of the surface appearances of things. They want to find out the underlying systems. And at last they found out culture, structuralist approach to culture is, it is because humans have been loaded with this. Their humans' genetic code has been loaded with this capacity to enjoy, to interact, to produce, to leave behind residual cultures and go forward in search of emergent cultures. Understand? Therefore, it says, the structuralist approach to culture is, experience is the effect of culture, while culturalist approach is, experience is culture. In this case, experience is the effect of culture. Effect of culture means the ability, the capacity that is planted in the mind of humans. Otherwise, as I told you, humans go to university, monkeys go to university. They cannot do anything there. They will jump from one room to another, they move from this way. If there are some fruits they will catch, they will in the campus they will go and eat it, or some tender leaves or tender coconut or something, and they go eat. Why? The simple reason is that they have not been loaded genetically, or they are not prone to, or they don't have the capacity, potential. It's because humans have potential. You enter into interaction and experience. So interaction and experience is the effect of culture. That is capacity for culture. But culturalists will say, no such thing, you don't worry about that. You interact and experience, then culture automatically happens. See, I just want to show you how interdisciplinary is the structuralism. It can get into theories like cultural studies, and say that cultural studies, the depth or the deep structures of culture you find in the minds of humans and not in the artifacts created by these things. Like what we say, sophisticated surroundings, artificial intelligence, computer, chip, and all those things. Understand? So this is the same thing you can say about literature. So how literature happens? It's because the human capacity is there. The structuralist approach is that. They are not very much satisfied with looking at the surface appearances of literary forms. Where is it they go? Then they say, in the structure, in the mind of humans, that there are slots for culture. Or you can say this is loaded. Therefore, you produce literary, different forms of literature and other things like that. Understand? And at the same time, you will find there are relationships. Understand? So what you find in the surface is not the actual culture. The actual culture, for actual culture, you have to go back to your mind, your capacity, inner capacity, your potential for that. If no potential, just compare this monkeys going to a university and humans going to a university. They cannot do anything because they don't have that capacity. Humans have the capacity. So culture originates in the mind, not what you see the surface forms. Understand? But culturalists say it is confined to this experience. And structuralists say experience is the effect of culture. I hope you have followed this. If you read two paradigms, this is the thing. Right from the very beginning, you will find this is the argument. What is the approach of culturalists? What is the approach of structuralists to culture? You will see this. Structuralists like Claude Strauss and Louis Althusser, they are they are going in search of the deep structures. Or you see, the human capacity for culture. Here they are not concerned about that, they are concerned about surface structures. Hope that I have tried to explain and you have understood what I have told you. If you have got any doubt and things like that, you can definitely ask me and we will see how we can proceed with that. Alright? Clarify. So till then, bye. Have a nice day. Enjoy your life. Enjoy.